welcome to another one of our cruising wrap-up videos. This country we're talking about today, Thailand. It's a very popular country for cruisers for a lot of reasons. We're going to go over some of the things we liked about Thailand, some of the things we didn't like about Thailand, where we recommend you go, all the important things to know if you're going to go cruising there.
Absolutely. And Thailand was one of the countries that we really wanted to go to when we planned out our circumnavigation. And the main reason for that was the food. Yeah, the food was amazing in Thailand. We were really happy with that aspect of our travel there and really enjoyed it. Night market was great. We really enjoyed the one in Phuket like several times.
You cannot miss that. If you go to Thailand, do not miss that night market. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah. Even in Satoon, the night market was pretty good. So, anywhere in Thailand has great food. David's favorite dish is pad thai. My favorite dish is pad see ew, and we did have really good stuff there.
I will say, yes, those dishes are amazing, but don't miss out on mango sticky rice. It's so damn good. May not be so good for you, but oh my goodness, it's just got that nice little delicious sweetness to it. Highly, highly recommend that one.
Yeah, actually the mangoes in general in Thailand were amazing. Like, way better than the mangoes we have in the United States. Another thing we enjoyed about the food was that we got to try a lot of foods that aren't typically on the menu in Thai restaurants in America. For example, I had a lemongrass curry that I really, really enjoyed, and I can't find a recipe for it online, and nothing looks the same. So
that's how you know it's authentic.
Yeah, it was really good.
Okay, let's move on to topic number 2 for Thailand, and that's going to be the formalities. It's slightly complicated. It is manageable, but it's a bit of a pain. So we cleared in Satoon. Most cruisers, if they're coming from Malaysia and Langkawi, kind of make their way up to Phuket and then just do all their clearance formalities there. We had the haul out scheduled in Satoon, so we just elected to clear in Satoon. Would not really recommend that option. It was A, challenging to find the channels to get into Satoon, and then B, that river. Yeah, there was a lot of mud. Got very high on Starry Horizons because we got stuck. So,
yes,
wouldn't recommend that option. Definitely, if you can, just go up to Phuket. We had some friends who they took a while to get from Langkawi up to Phuket and clear in, so I think it's okay as long as you're not waiting like weeks and weeks to go on up and do your clearance. So one thing to consider. To go into Thailand, you have to get a visa. We got a visa in advance, which we applied for in Langkawi. There was a service there who took our passports and paperwork down to the Thailand consulate or embassy in Penang. They applied for a visa in advance. That is 60 days, which you can extend for 30. Otherwise, when you get to Thailand, you can get a visa on arrival. That's not bad, but the issue is if you want to fly out of Thailand, the visa on arrival makes things more complicated. You have to leave a bond of 20,000 baht to be able to depart the country, which means you have to go to various offices, pay all the money. It is a massive pain. If you have the visa in advance, then you can literally just show up to the airport, fly out, and fly back in. I would strongly suggest that you have proof that you have a boat that you're coming back to, but it made the process a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Now, as at the time of our visit, you are required to clear in and out with the harbor master in each province that you go to. This was something they neglected to mention to us when we got to Satoon, so when we got up to Phuket and tried to clear in, which we knew we had to do in each province, they fined us, which was very annoying and frustrating. So if you're going from various provinces, and keep in mind that Phuket and Krabi are 2 different provinces, so if you go from one to the other, you need to clear out with the harbor master and in with the harbor master at the other point.
Yes, technically PP is part of the Krabi province. Although, you can travel to the islands, and I don't think anybody's going to really get upset at you. But going to the Krabi province to clear in is a massive pain to just go to PP Island. So,
yeah, that's true. Okay, let's move on to some of our favorite anchorages.
Well, Naiharn was definitely our favorite. Naiharn is in the southwest corner of Phuket, and it's got a very nice beach, a dinghy dock, plenty of restaurants, little fruit stands to shop at. It was just really nice. We had at least 50 cruising boats in there, so it's a really big bay.
It was definitely the cruisers' hangout, so it was kind of a popular place to socialize and stuff like that, which was good. I think for me, one of my favorites was the Koh Yao Yai, and that was the island we went to with my brother. It wasn't nearly as popular with kind of the tourist boats, so we had it pretty much all to ourselves with one or two other cruising boats. The little dinghy trip up the river was beautiful, and I just kind of really enjoyed the calm, pristine nature of it. So that was really nice for me.
Yeah. Koh Rak Nak is where we hit the reef.
So you might be surprised to hear that it's on our list of favorite anchorages, but
the water is really clear there, which we didn't get to see a lot of, and I would have really liked to stay longer. Tour boats do come in during the day and drop off tourists, so it is a little crowded during the day, but at night it was just a handful of cruising boats, which was really nice.
Yeah, everything cleared out.
Yeah.
And then the big island everyone knows about is Phi Phi Island, and this is, yes, it's touristy, but it was well worth a visit. So the hike that we did with our friend Carlana had some absolutely gorgeous views. There's Monkey Beach to go visit, which was really nice. That was some of the best snorkeling that we found.
In Thailand, which is not saying much, but
for where we went, we'll talk about that a little bit later. So I mean, it had a bit of a the whole package. It just, man, there was a lot of tourists. So just keep that in mind when you visit there.
Yeah.
Okay. Topic number 4: places we wish we had gone. We did not get to a whole lot of places in Thailand, which is disappointing. We did spend literally almost half of our time hauled out, so that was a bummer. But there are definitely some places we wish that we had gone. Further up into, and I'm going to mispronounce it, Phang Nga Bay, I think is how you say it. There's just a bunch more islands kind of up to the north, and they look pretty awesome. So you can go to like James Bond Island, which, just the name itself sounds really awesome.
It was in one of the movies. That's why they call it James Bond Island.
Yeah. And, it would have been nice to see some more of the hongs and some of the other natural features of the islands. So that is one thing that we wish we'd had time to be able to get up and do. But perhaps it might have been a little less touristy the further north we went. Some of the islands we went to, yeah, just lots of tourists. But, have to wait till next time to find out for sure.
Now, I went to a place that David didn't get to go to. I went to the islands Koh Racha Yai and Koh Racha Noi. I did this as part of a dive class. I did my underwater navigation course in Phuket, and both those sites were very nice, clear water, interesting stuff to see on the dive, and so it would have been a good stop to make.
Yeah. And then there are 2 other kind of island groups that are actually off to the west of Phuket, and those are the Similan Islands and Surin Islands. Those are the 2. And again, we didn't get a chance to get there, but our friends Carlos and Linda on 22 South did, and they told us that the water was clear, it was less touristy, some of their favorite places in Thailand. So yes, those 2 are definitely on our list for places to go when we ever get back there.
And we'll have a link to their video down below.
Yes, or maybe I can even link to it somewhere in, I don't know. Oh, you find a link, just go find it, yeah. Alright, now let's move on to places we would not go back to, and there's a pretty big obvious one.
Yeah, we wouldn't go back to Satoon.
No.
It doesn't have a lot of, there's not a lot of information about what tourists can do there, so when we had 10 days to kill, we were just kind of like, all right, well, we're eating a lot of Thai food, which is great, and we went to the night market, but I didn't really know what else to do there. It's not a touristed area.
And the river, just avoid that stupid river.
Yeah, I mean, anchoring was challenging in that whole area because the land is, or the part of the river, the part of the water next to the land is really shallow.
Really, really shallow.
And it stretches out very far, so it's hard to get a good anchorage.
Yeah. So, okay, just avoid Zatun and you'll be good. Now, for a few general thoughts of cruising Thailand. The sailing. Again, you've got very light winds this part of the world, so sailing was kind of a rare special treat. You might have noticed we were pretty thrilled when we got sails up and actually got a chance to get moving without motors. So just be aware that you can sail, but it likely will be very light. It might take you a while to get places, but fortunately I will say Phuket does have fuel docks, so that does make getting diesel a lot easier if you need to use the motors.
Probably our least favorite thing about Thailand, at least the parts that we went to, was how insanely crowded it was.
Yeah.
There are tour boats coming and going, high speed, loud tour boats coming and going all the time. They're just chock full of tourists in their bright orange life jackets, and the tourists get dumped into the water, and I mean, it was rough. I mean,
like the tour boats just don't really care too much about coming close to you, so you just get super rocked and waked like all the time. And you know, they want to get to the tourists in one place and then drop them off and get them to another place. So it's just kind of the way that the tourism industry works there. But as a cruiser, it's just a little frustrating when you're trying to enjoy a nice, beautiful bay and, you know, getting rocked by huge wakes every few minutes. But it is what it is. Now, the water clarity, we kind of alluded to this earlier, it's not great. There is kind of a bunch of rivers that feed down into the bay, and that really kind of muddies things up. So, you know, snorkeling was difficult to see things. You know, making water, you're kind of like having to go through filters quite a lot and clean those out. So the water clarity wasn't great, which is just kind of a bummer. But again, we've heard that those islands off to the west of Phuket might offer a little better option than that one. So if you go and check those out, let us know.
Yeah. The final issue that we really had with Thailand, which is not a surprise, was the trash. Pretty much all of Southeast Asia that we saw, there's so much trash in the water, there's so much trash on the beaches, and I mean, we didn't like it in the first place, but we were really getting sick of it by this point. There are some efforts in Phuket to clean beaches and start using, eliminate using single-use plastic, which is good, but it's
still a long way to go.
A long way to go.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be part of your experience when you get to Thailand. Now, hauling out. This, I feel we can talk pretty significantly about because we managed to haul out in 2 different places. The first one, which was scheduled, was at the PSS shipyard in Satun. This was supposed to be a very short, quick haul out to just replace a through hull. Ended up being, like 2 weeks that we got hauled out. This was due to, again, the water being shallow and the tides and everything. This was a mistake on the yard. They were we gave them all the dimensions of the boat. They said, okay, yeah, no problem. You go back in a few days. And then when we got there, the actual yard operations guys didn't agree. So the yard did try to make it right. They put us up in a hotel. But that meant they had 10 extra days to get stuff done. We asked them to do very few projects. They didn't get hardly any of them done. So overall, just don't really recommend the PSS. It was geared more towards the Thailand fishing fleets, so it's not really geared to cruisers. It was a cheap yard, so they have that going for them. But there's no marine chandleries really in Satun, so if people are trying to order boat parts, they have to order them from Phuket to come in. It was great for our intended purpose of a short stop where we can do the projects ourselves, but I wouldn't recommend it for kind of long-term big projects yourself.
Actually, about a month after we visited at PSS, they dropped a historic sailing vessel, and it was like a big kerfuffle, and they're still working on getting recovering, so that's really unfortunate.
Yeah. Now, thanks to hitting the reef at Koh Rak Nak, we did have a second haul out, and that one I thought went much better. That was up at G&T Boatyard.
Yep. The work that they did for us was really good. While we were hauled out, we had them fix the crack in the mini keel from where we hit the reef. We also had them go ahead and do additional bottom paint and repair some fiberglass work, the stuff that we asked PSS to do that they never got around to. The only negative was that they did incorrectly block one of our holes, and we had some bowing in the bowing.
Yeah, flexing and a few cracks.
And a few cracks in the hole. So that was unfortunate, but they did sand that all down and repair it in a way that we were satisfied with. So that was good.
They asked us how we wanted it fixed. They fixed it exactly how we said, and they did it very quickly. So that was kind of a nice thing to see, that they worked hard to repair their mistakes. Because let's be honest, it's real life. Mistakes are gonna happen. So.
Yeah. Another good thing about GNT was that they actually had a chandlery on site, which was great.
It was.
PSS had no access to marine supplies. And then there was another one in walking distance at the Alpo Marina. So actually there were two more in walking distance at the Alpo Marina from GNT. So that was really great.
Yeah.
And we also had access to restaurants, which PSS is out in the middle of nowhere. GNT had several restaurants nearby and little bungalows, air-conditioned bungalows that we could stay in.
So that was quite nice as well, yeah. Okay, let's move on to marine services. And if you've watched our Indonesia wrap-up video, you kind of know that Indonesia, no marine services. Thailand, there are some, which is actually kind of a nice thing. They seem to get better as you go up through Southeast Asia. So Singapore has some, Malaysia has some where you're at, but Thailand is really where a lot of cruisers go to get some work done because the labor is fairly cheap. There are some very skilled contractors out there. You have to be a little careful though, because we've heard that the quality of work can be hit or miss. So, talk to other people, get recommendations for people they've worked with in the past. We have heard some people say that it's best to almost, supervise and be part of the project so you can watch the work that's being done and make sure that it's being done to your specifications, etc. But, stainless work, electronic work, all those kind of things you can find and have done in Thailand, which is very nice.
Those things are true anywhere you go, so, yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like, you have to keep an eye on people who are working on projects. Like, for example, the fiberglass work that GNT did, they did a better job than some work we had done in Florida.
Yeah.
So, that's the way of the maritime industry, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, well, as part of the marine services, there are a lot of very nice marinas on Phuket as well. We ended up staying at the Royal Phuket Marina, which was very expensive, surprisingly, but it was available and had size for our boat, which was what we needed to kind of come in from when we ducked in from a tropical storm that was coming through and then picking up and dropping off guests. So Royal Phuket was nice.
It was expensive and the amenities weren't that great.
Yeah.
They didn't have a laundry facility, and we actually had to go to the neighboring marina to go grocery shopping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the neighboring marina was Boat Lagoon, which is another really popular one. And it does have a haul-out facility with marine services that could accommodate our boat. And they have a chandlery on site and a massive grocery store.
Yeah. And there is a sister Boat Lagoon that is over in Krabi, which we didn't stay at, but our friend Carlos on 22 South, he did. It sounds like that was another fairly nice marina. A bit cheaper than the prices over on Phuket as well, so that's something worth looking into. We did mention earlier the Alpo Marina, which is also very close to the GNT boatyard. Mm-hmm. So that was another very nice marina. It looks like some of the very big super yachts call in there. And there is one more marina kind of way up at the north of Phuket, which is Yacht Haven. And we never ended up getting that far north, so can't really speak to that. But it is another option if you are looking for marinas.
Yep. Now, provisioning. Provisioning was pretty awesome in Phuket because Phuket has, I guess, an expat community and such a tourist community that it was very westernized. Of course, those things mean it's a little bit more expensive, but we could get pretty much everything that we wanted. There is a massive mall in Phuket called Central Festival, and that had all the big fancy name brand stuff, and then it had electronic stores and clothing stores, and then there was a huge grocery store down at the bottom.
Giant.
Yeah, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah. They even had a movie theater, so we were able to watch, I think Aquaman.
We saw Aquaman
in English there. So, it's a good place to go hang out, kind of spend a little bit of time, shop around if you need to. There's even an IKEA in Phuket, so literally, you can find whatever you're looking for in Phuket, which is really nice after, just some of the ruralness of Indonesia and stuff like that. But
yeah, absolutely.
Well worth it to do lots of shopping in Phuket. And then for our last little topic, we're going to kind of try to keep this constant throughout each country we go to, and that is internet access. And again, we got a local SIM card in Thailand, which is the way to go. It was through a company called AIS, which I kind of rather enjoy as a boater, but it had pretty good 4G coverage throughout pretty much all the islands we went to. It was fairly cheap, so that was definitely the way to go for internet coverage there. We uploaded quite a lot of YouTube videos while we were there, and
we did.
It worked out well. So, again, the local 4G coverage, definitely the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Anything else that we missed?
I don't think so. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below, and David will answer them for you.
I'll do my best, at least. I promise for that. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll be it for Thailand. We've got
Southeast Asia.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Southeast Asia, because the next countries we're going to are a little off the beaten path. We've got Sri Lanka, the Maldives, Chagos, Seychelles, the Indian Ocean coming up. So, got some pretty interesting things to be discussing. So make sure you guys stick around, and we will be seeing y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.